We should treat the airline like any other business, and it should make profit at the end of the day. To sustain an airline in the long term, it becomes very expensive on the governments. And while the fuel was at, selling at a very high price, the government managed to sustain that. I think going forward that it will become more difficult. And we are very pleased to see a lot of the national carriers are indicating that within the next 2 or 3 years they'll start breaking even and making some profit, which is the way to be. At the end, it's a business and it needs to be sustainable. Oman has a lot to offer, and until now it's not marketed well. People don't know. Whoever comes, Oman always exceeds the expectation. And it has a very unique sort of environment and tourism products. It's a beautiful city. It has the mountains, it has the seas, and it has the people, it has the culture. So whoever comes definitely always tells us that they want to come Oman again. And this is what we are sort of hoping that will fuel our future expansion. Today, if they give me the traffic rights, I'll fly to India. India is a very important destination. We know that our future and all the expansion plan that we are putting, it all considering that India will be part of our destination. They are one of the biggest community here in Oman and the whole region. And today, the middle class Indian, they always travel, and GCC becomes in their destination maps. And we'd like to take some share of that market.
From flying to less than 10 destinations in 2017 to 25 destinations in 3 years, it has been an incredible journey for SalamAir. And the man leading from the front is with us today. Captain Mohamed, welcome to SpotLight.
Thank you for being with you today.
Let me start by asking, you took over as the CEO of SalamAir in 2017. And like I said, until then, you were operating to less than 10 destinations. Now we are flying to 25 destinations, of which 23 are international destinations. It has been an incredible, remarkable journey, isn't it?
It's been so good. I mean, we've been extremely, I guess, lucky as being the first low-cost airline in Oman, something that the area needed a lot. And we came and filled the gap, and it was received very well by the passengers. And this has allowed us to expand, and I hope that we'll be able to fly to more destinations soon.
SalamAir currently operates 3 Airbus A320 and 5 Airbus A320 Neo.
That's correct.
Do you have plans to increase these fleet numbers, considering that you are increasing your international destinations every month?
Definitely. Next month we are receiving one more A320 Neo from our previous order. At the end of the year we are receiving the A321, which will have extra passenger numbers and extra range. At the time as well, we are looking for increasing the fleet. We are sort of, we would like to have a fleet of around 20 aircraft to fly to more than 65 destinations in the next 5 years.
65 destinations in 5 years.
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I was informed that you're trying to increase the passenger numbers to 3 million, up from 1.6 million.
Sure.
Isn't that a staggering figure?
See, what happened that last year we started January with 4 aircrafts only. This year we started January with 8 aircrafts.
Okay.
So that gives you the difference of the capacity that we are putting in the market. Last year we exceeded the 1.5 million, and we sort of will touch around the 3 million this year. It all depends on how the travel community and their will to fly, and how popular the destination will do. That's our plan.
As an airline, you are the face of Oman tourism. How far have you achieved in promoting tourism in Oman?
That's our main priority. Wherever we go, most of the destination we open, we put that on the upfront. Last summer, as you know, we started a few first flights from Salalah to Abu Dhabi. For the first time, flights from Salalah to Kuwait, which was extremely popular. And those all brought, very sort of good number of passengers who would have taken them 5 to 6 hours to reach Salalah, managed to get in Salalah within 2 hours, which was really pleasing. We will continue doing this. A lot of the destination. Recently, we increased our Tehran flight to a daily flight and Shiraz to Delhi. Both those destinations are bringing very good numbers of passengers, whether they are tourists or whether they are visitors or business people. They're coming to Oman. So everywhere we go, all our offices, you'll see us promoting Oman really in a very big time. And now we have covered the whole GCC. There is all the main cities in the GCC we fly to. And those, of course, bring a lot of passengers because Oman is very popular among the GCC families.
How has been the response, particularly from the international tourist, now that you are flying to 25 destinations? So how has been the response from the tourists who are coming to Oman?
The response has been very great. I think Oman has a lot to offer, and until now it's not marketed well. People don't know. Whoever comes, Oman always exceeds the expectation.
Okay.
And it has a very unique sort of environment and tourism products. It's a beautiful city. It has the mountains, it has the seas, and it has the people, it has the culture. So whoever comes definitely always tells us that they want to come Oman again. And this is what we are sort of hoping that will fuel our future expansion. Of course, with the investment that has been put by the government into the aviation infrastructure, it really helped us a lot. Today we have one of the best airports in the region. And the number of hotels that every day we sort of see they're opening from all levels. This will all help into sort of growing this tourism market.
As part of the expansion plans, I was informed that SalamAir is also planning a public initial offering by 2024. Are you still in that direction? Are you still going in that direction?
Of course, that's something to do with the the board members and the shareholders. Of course, as a management, we'll always need to stick to our plan. We need to, show at least 3 years of profitability, which we are on track of doing that. Once we do that, then the decision will become with the shareholders to either to go or not. But it's very wise. Everybody has sort of indicated that are their future plans. The IPO will definitely help the company into growing, fueling the next phase of expansion.
You have an extensive experience in the aviation industry, having worked with SalamAir for almost 10 years, both in the operational and the technical side. Where do you see this aviation industry going in the next 10 years?
The aviation industry is it's a very evolving industry. It has sort of moved a lot from the past. Definitely one of the main factors in this has been the low-cost carrier, where they actually are taking more shares. I mean, look at Europe, 80% of the growth is just purely on the low cost, and we are still lacking behind. In the next 10 years, the region will see a lot of changes. I think what happened recently to some of the national airlines, where they decided to downsize and be more reasonable with their growth plan.
Is that purposeful or is it deliberate, downsizing the
I mean,
airline?
that could be, see, for me, we should treat the airline like any other business.
Okay.
And it should make profit at the end of the day. To sustain an airline in the long term, it becomes very expensive on the governments.
Okay.
And while the fuel was at, selling at a very high price, the government managed to sustain that. I think going forward that it will become more difficult. And, we are very pleased to see a lot of the national carriers are indicating that within the next 2 or 3 years, they'll start breaking even and making some profit, which is the way to be. At the end, it's a business and it needs to be sustainable. Subsidizing an airline is it will have an end one day. You see it all over the world. The number of airlines that today shut down, because the government is not subsidizing anymore, it's in the increase. So this will shape the future of the aviation. The private airline will have more role because they are leaner, they sort of very cost conscious, they follow a sort of proper business plans, and they will be able to survive more. Whether the airlines who are sort of depends on the subsidy, I think those subsidy will start shrinking, and eventually they will have to rethink of their strategy.
We are living in an era where people are talking about pilotless commercial flights. Airbus just recently tested it. Where do you see this going? You are a pilot yourself.
Of course. I mean, this has, for me, sad news and a good news. As a pilot, I will hate it because I still like to fly an aircraft. But as a CEO, I would love it. I mean, our second bill after the fuel is our pilot salary. So if we can get rid of that, it would be fantastic. But to be very honest, I mean, eventually the technology might reach there, but there will be a lot of a human touch that will need to be considered before moving towards
because safety is one aspect that needs to. That's a concern for passengers as well.
Of course. Just the fact that somebody's up there, you're more comfortable with it. Today there is a lot of trial with the cars. We have not seen that really, go on a. I guess with the flying will be even more difficult. And in my opinion, this will eventually happen, but not in my lifetime. So after I'm retired, so I have my job security here.
You're currently flying to most of these Asian countries, which includes Pakistan, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Nepal. And a lot of people are asking us, why is that SalamAir not flying to India?
Sure.
That's a curious question that I wanted to ask you. So why is SalamAir not flying to India?
See, for me, today, if they give me the traffic rights, I'll fly to India. India is a very important destination. We know that our future and all the expansion plan that we are putting, it all considering that India will be part of our destination. They are one of the biggest community here in Oman and the whole region. And today, the middle class Indian, they always travel, and GCC becomes in their destination maps, and we'd like to take some share of that market. We have been trying to fly to India. We have a lot of discussion. I went to New Delhi a couple of times, met the authorities there. Our authorities are as well trying to help us. Today we are an appointed airline, which we can actually fly. We've been approved from all the security and requirements. The only thing that the traffic rights between Oman and India at the moment, it's set at a certain level, which is totally taken by Oman Air at the moment. And any new negotiation, any increase in the seat numbers, then it will be our turn. So we are just waiting and hoping that will happen
this year.
I hope it will happen this year, but I cannot be sure, because there's a lot of factors that might affect that.
Captain, how do you define success, considering that you're one of the most busiest CEOs in the country? Managing time, your employees, of course, the airline industry is a very competitive and challenging field.
Sure.
How do you define success?
See, for me, success has nothing to do with the results. I mean, I'm very happy and very pleased that we have this year or last year we achieved good results. But for me, success is to start as internal. As long as you are satisfied with the work and the effort you are doing towards achieving your goals, and you are taking your team along with you as a family members, I think for me that's the success. For me, today we have reached more than 60% of Omanization. Today we have a lot of young Omanis who started their career in SalamAir, either in the different departments and commercial, or in pilots, or cadet pilots and other departments. And we have a lot of young management. We are a very young airline. The average age of our top management is really low comparing to any other airline. And for me, these are success. And of course, the final goal, as I said, we are a business. We need to be profitable. We need to bring some revenue for our shareholders, for us to sustain in the long term, and for SalamAir to sort of stay flying and expanding for the years to come.
How do you motivate yourself? I'm sure it was not all easy the last 3 years. So,
of course.
And when you have an off day, how do you motivate yourself? Because you are the boss.
Yeah. I don't think I have an off day because once you are in an airline business, it's a 24/7 business. The aircraft at any minute, as I'm speaking now, we have aircrafts flying, aircraft landing somewhere. So in our business, we never have an off day. But at the same time, we are in a continuous holiday as well. So I just yesterday morning arrived from a beautiful place. and I'll be traveling again, and next week there is another. For us, for us in the airline business, it's not a job. It's not a 9 to 5 job of a daily routine. It's very exciting, it's very different, and that by itself motivates us all. A lot of people say once you get in aviation, it's very hard to get out of it. The vibe that it brings, the passion that we have for flying. It's been the man's dream to fly, and to be able to do that and serve all these numbers. So far we've carried more than 3 million passengers.
Yes.
And I know we had difficult times, but when somebody comes and says we had a flight which was on time, and they're very happy with with the services, with the crew, with the aircraft, that by itself just the biggest motivation that we have.
Looking back, how do you see it yourself? 3 years.
The 3 years, we are very happy and pleased. Definitely it could have been better. We've done mistakes. I've done a lot of mistakes, but the good thing, we've learned from it. We managed to put a team together that is second to none. It's an ace team that I'm sure that will take this airline for years to come. And of course, we've been very lucky with the support we've got, whether it's from the stakeholders, whether from the authorities. Everywhere we went, we got tremendous support. For us now, everybody would like this airline to succeed. It did a lot of contribution towards the local economy. The 3 million passengers that we brought, they not only brought revenue to SalamAir, it brought revenue to all the businesses around us, the taxi drivers, the hotels, the restaurants, duty free, you name it. They all benefited from this, and we are very pleased that last year we were the leading in the growth in all Oman airports, whether it's Salalah or Sohar or Muscat, especially Muscat, where we topped the chart of everybody in terms of growth, and that's very pleasing that we are moving towards the vision that the Sultanate of Oman have put for their tourism, and we are contributing in the local economy, the diversifying of post-oil economy, and we hope that we'll continue doing that.
Looking forward, how do you see it this year and next year for SalamAir? What are your plans?
See, I think last year we put a lot of foundation, and even if you look at, we brought more new aircraft, very efficient aircraft, environment friendly, which is one of our aims as well, to sort of contribute to our bigger, Mother Earth, by sort of reducing the carbon emission. And we did a lot of foundation, we did a lot of infrastructure work, where we actually changed our internet booking engine, introduced the mobile applications.
Has it increased in terms of usage?
Definitely, it had big contribution, and this year we will continue doing that. We'll bring more new aircrafts. We'll work on the passenger comfort. We just introduced a very competitive insurance program recently. We will be flexible with our fares, with our packages, introduce new holiday destinations, do whatever we can to satisfy the passengers. One of the things that we think we've been good at is to listen to our passengers, take their feedback.
How do you do that?
We do surveys, we are close to the travel agents, we take feedbacks from people. Last year we did some of the summer destinations that was extremely popular. And Trabzon, we started with 2 flights, and then we added the 3rd, we added the 4th, and they were all full, and everybody were very satisfied with that flight. And we will continue doing that. We are a young airline, we are very flexible, we can change techniques, and we know that in this business there is a lot of variables. Not everything we'll do, it will work all the time. There is a lot of geopolitical problems in the area that we are sort of flying to. And we are very flexible on changing these plans. Whatever plan doesn't work, we can change it immediately, so we can actually stay on track and on our financial plans.
I wish you all success, Captain, for all your future endeavors. Thank you so much. And
Thank you. Thank you for being.
Thanks.